Hello everyone, this is entry number 1 in my solstice travelogue. So it is currently the 6th of April, and I'll give you a rundown of how my travel plans have evolved and matured. So initially, in December, I booked flights to Austin, and I ended up getting an Airbnb there with the thought that I would go there to see the eclipse, basically because it's in the path of the eclipse. I know a bunch of people there, and who I could see, and also like out of places on the path of the eclipse, it seemed most likely to not be cloudy, judging by like historical averages. So I don't know. Those plans stood for a while until I guess starting the start of April, it seemed like Austin would be cloudy. And actually, what happened was um, some friends of mine, were keeping track of. I was not really keeping track of this, but some friends of mine were, luckily, um, and we ended up coming up with this group plan, um, kind of spearheaded by a friend of mine, Ben Weinstein Ron, who I want to give a shout out to. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to fly to Boston. Then from Boston, we're going to drive to this small town in Maine called Newry. It is not in the path, but it's within driving distance of a few different places in the path. So Sunday night, we'll be staying in an Airbnb in Newry. Then, Monday, we'll wake up early, figure out where we want to go, based on, I don't know, what the traffic seems likely to be, and also, maybe some considerations of cloud cover. We might drive for up to a couple of hours, and then, get there, see the eclipse, drive back to Boston, stay in an Airbnb there Monday night, and then Tuesday fly back to San Francisco. So that is now my plan. I've canceled the flights, bought new flights. I'm in on the Airbnbs. Quite a few of my friends are going. So I think it'll be fun to have this road trip thing. The eclipse should be pretty cool. So perhaps for some context, this is my first total eclipse, or I think even my first eclipse of any kind that I've really that I can remember at least. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it'll be cool. I've seen some negativity along the lines of, well, I've seen it be dark before, and I guess I don't know how overwhelming or underwhelming it will be in the moment, but I've got the gear, I've got some Eclipse glasses, I've got Eclipse plans and Eclipse friends, so hopefully it should be fun. I'll be, podcasting along the way, giving you guys updates that will be edited together and released after the fact. So hopefully you enjoy these missives from the journey, and hopefully via the medium of audio I can tell you something about what it's like to travel to and see a total eclipse. Goodbye for now. Hello, listeners. Right now it is 4:02 a.m. on Sunday, April 7th. I'm sitting in my room right now. Basically, I'm using this app that is telling me how I should, deal with the time zone change, and it prescribed that I wake up at 3 a.m. this morning, and starting now and ending, at 10 a.m., I should expose myself to as much bright light as possible. So that's exciting. I got to bed at 11 p.m. last night, so that's theoretically 4 hours of sleep, although I didn't I didn't sleep all of them. And yeah, now I'm sitting in my room. I can give you a light meter reading. I'm lucky enough to have quite bright lights and also a light meter on me. So there's about 900, 1,000 lux around where my face is, or on stuff that I'm looking at. So pretty bright room. Yeah, I've mostly packed. I'm gonna bring the light meter with me to measure how eclipsey the eclipse is. But yeah, it does not take that many hours to pack. I've got until like 6:30 when I'm gonna leave the house and head over to the airport for my 8:30 a.m. flight. And very kindly, my time zone adjusting app has told me that I'm allowed to nap on the flight. So I hope I'll be able to. It would kind of suck if I followed the time zone shifting recommendations and the only consequence was I was sleep deprived on the day the eclipse was happening and therefore not really able to appreciate it. But there you go. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I guess that's it for now. I might talk to you, I don't know, maybe either at the airport or more likely on the other side of once I've landed at Boston Logan Airport. Right. Talk to you then. All right. Hello, dear listeners. Right now, it is 5:38 p.m. on Sunday. I'm in Boston Logan International Airport. I'm walking with two travel companions who unfortunately have to remain nameless. Walking to the rental car place where we're gonna meet up with people and figure out what on earth we're doing. I'm happy to report that I managed to sleep for 2.5 hours on the flight. Not to turn this thing into an ad, but I bought the Wirecutter number 2 recommended neck pillow. Number 2 because the number 2 recommended neck pillow is available in airports, and I didn't have time. I didn't have enough forethought to have enough time to get it shipped to me. So, and it was a pretty good neck pillow. I recommend it. So, yeah, nice flight. Got some sleep. Now I'm in Boston, which is a nice place, except right now I'm looking at a big concrete wall with like barbed wire on top of it and sort of nasty looking lights and signs that say no trespassing. So that part isn't the nicest part of Boston. But in general, I'm a fan of the city. So yeah, I will talk to you more. All right, hello again, listeners. It's now 5:55 here in Boston. I've successfully, I think it's this way. I've successfully exited the airport, which was harder than one might have thought it should have been. Nevertheless, one thing I forgot to mention is sadly we're already like one person down. It turns out someone already someone accidentally booked a flight for the wrong day, so they're still in the San Francisco Bay Area. So that's kind of sad. Hopefully that will be our only loss. Hopefully that will be our only loss of traveling companions on this trip. But I don't know, someone's flight did get delayed and then they didn't make their connection, so maybe it'll be 2, who knows. So there you go, signing off. All right, hello dear listeners. It's now technically Monday, 12:49 a.m. Our car of people have just arrived in our Airbnb in Maine, and I'm here with another person on in my party. Can you introduce yourself?
I'm Eli.
You're Eli.
Should I say more? Who's the audience of this podcast?
I don't know. I think they're just. I. I actually really don't have a good sense of this.
Okay.
Do you want to? Do you feel comfortable sharing your last name?
Sure.
What is your last name?
My last name is Tyre.
Yeah. So you are Eli Tyre.
Yep.
We're bunkmates.
That's true.
I guess.
I think we're sleeping in this room.
Yeah. How are you feeling about that situation?
Totally fine. I'm kind of excited about these bunk beds, which have like a cool ladder.
Yeah. Or your one has a cool ladder. Mine has
Yeah,
a conventional ladder, and yours has like there's 2 steps, and then there's a platform, and then there's some steps up into the top bunk.
Yeah.
Are you gonna take? Well, so there are 2 bunk beds, and I guess I'm imagining we're sleeping in different bunks, but I didn't like.
No, I confirmed
Check in
that with
with
you.
you.
I
Okay.
checked if you wanted, despite there being 4 separate beds in the room that we're sleeping in. Maybe you wanted to sleep in the same bed as me, which I.
Oh, I meant like different. Like I my imagination was that you were gonna sleep in a different tower of beds than me.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna sleep in this one.
Okay, cool. Top or bottom?
Probably bottom.
Okay, cool. So we just drove up from Boston.
Yep.
How was your experience of that?
Kind of shitty. So I woke up. So before I drove up from Boston, I mean, I wasn't driving. I was sitting in the car.
Yep.
I flew from Berkeley.
Yep.
And my Berkeley flight was pretty early, so I
Yes.
woke up at 4:50 Berkeley time so that I could get to the airport, which
Yep.
is, usually I'm waking up at about 9, so I slept for like about 4 hours. Also, even though my first flight was the first flight of the day, it was still delayed by about an hour. And so I missed the second flight. I missed my connecting flight by like 10 minutes. But the main thing is I just like didn't sleep very well last night because I got up early, and so I've not been very effective for most of today. On the way up here, I was sleeping a bit, or like trying to sleep in the car.
Right.
I think not really, like dozing maybe, not really sleeping.
Yeah, there were like 7 people in the car, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we picked up one new person to sort of balance out the one person we lost, so that's kind of nice. So I mean, from my perspective, I was just like chatting away in the car. So did you have much success at dozing?
I think so. I mean, yeah, there. I have blank spots in my memory,
Okay.
so I think
Seems
I dozed off a little bit. My aura
Yeah.
ring didn't detect it, but I think that's because it was bouncing on the car.
Right, right. It is hard to tell with these things.
Yeah.
I often find.
But anyways,
Yeah.
I definitely have not gotten proper sleep. I will sleep long tonight and then be well rested tomorrow, and yeah, then I'll be good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a question of how long we'll be able to, or when we've got to get up. So
Yeah,
I'm.
it sounded like we don't have to get up that early. Like we're leaving at maybe 11 or something.
Well, yeah. So okay, I'm an advocate of getting up a bit earlier, basically on the theory. So I think our plan is to just like drive towards northern New Hampshire on this road that sort of terminates in this town called Pittsburgh, New Hampshire, and just like keep driving, and then whenever we are at like roughly 2:15, which is when the partial eclipse starts, I guess that's when we where we are, and like on the like there's not going to be there very much traffic theory. We only need to leave at like noonish, and on the like it's going to be like back to back, just like super intense traffic, then we should leave really early. I think on like zero traffic, then we could get like all the way to the end of this potential path in like an hour and a half or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, on the one hand, I'm like it would be good to leave early, but also it seems good for people to be well rested. So I don't know.
I mean, I don't think we have to leave that early to beat the traffic. I'm not that I have thought about it at all until you mention it right now, but like if we left at 10, between 10 and 2 is
4 hours.
4 hours, right? Which I don't know. It seems hard to have enough traffic that it makes your trip 4x longer.
Yeah, I guess I'm imagining like waking up at 10 and then being 11. But traffic can definitely make a trip 4x longer, right? Like if you're just stopped in traffic for a while, right? That can just be a massive multiplier.
Maybe.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that pans out. yeah, what else? We drove up. It was a long ride. It was kind of nice. We crossed two different state lines
Yep.
from Massachusetts to New Hampshire, New Hampshire to Maine. Here in Maine, it's like there's a lot of snow on the ground. All
Yep. That's surprising to me.
the towns have names like Bethel and
Yeah.
Poland and Paris and
Yep.
Oxford, and and it's very, I don't know, it's very like picturesque.
Yep.
I think.
We're in, it's New England,
Yes.
Puritan country.
Yeah, I saw some congregational churches.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're excited about that. I have less of a,
yeah.
like, watching you see churches is like watching a bird watcher see birds, and they're like, oh, it's like a special kind of bird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, that one seems good too, you know?
Well, all the congregational churches are cool because, like, I mean, Congregationalism is it's the denomination that the Puritans were, and like it is mostly not very present uh, outside of New England,
Okay.
at least by that name.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I like the ride. We got some food. We stopped at some places. I bought a Maine 2024 Eclipse T-shirt for $8 at a gas station, which
Yeah.
feels like they could have like ripped off tourists much more than they did on that shirt.
Maybe, I don't know. You should, if you.
I would have paid $15 for that.
All right, you might be an outlier in your willingness to pay.
I might be an outlier. Yeah, I don't know. But like $8 is like quite cheap for a T-shirt. I think.
Yeah, that's right. Bought
Yeah.
a T-shirt for $20 on Amazon today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I will. I like road tripping. I think I will have more fun in the car talking with people and so on tomorrow when I'm
Right.
not exhausted.
Yeah. Yeah, like when it's like a good version of socializing rather than a bad version of sleeping.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's still even so, it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
You had some you sort of led a Bible discussion session.
Yes.
That might be too strong. Like, a very small snippet of the Bible.
Yeah.
And your
I mean,
takeaway-
Bible study is often very small sections.
Yeah, and it wasn't so much as like, let's study the Word of God, so much as like, this is pretty confusing, huh?
Yeah. So
well,
this
it's that way on purpose.
Yeah, so this is the parable of the dishonest steward, which people can look up on Wikipedia,
Yeah.
which appears to be Jesus endorsing
Scamming?
financial fraud.
Yeah.
But it's really unclear. Well, I don't know. It's really unclear what the point of the parable is to sort of everyone,
Which is
as
the
far as I
point.
can tell. Which is, yes,
It's supposed to be unclear according to
Jesus.
yeah.
Well, according to the Gospels depictions of
Yeah.
Jesus.
So
But
I'm learning things about, the Bible. I also got a podcast recommendation that seems exciting.
oh yes, our new guest recommended some podcasts. Yeah, I have so many podcasts, but it did sound like a good one.
Yeah.
Um,
I like long form,
what was the name of that podcast?
Acquired.
Acquired, right?
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. I'll listen to a few episodes, and it sounded like he was really enjoying it. But I like, walking around the neighborhood for like 3 hours at a time, listening to a podcast on 2x speed and taking notes.
yeah.
And so, yeah, I don't know.
So I don't know. It was a nice ride. We got some food, got some snacks.
Oh yeah, I got a something fritter. Yep, there was food.
Chickpea fritter sandwich.
That's right.
Which is, I guess, what you call
It's like
falafel.
a kind of falafel. Yeah.
I think it was just falafel. Right?
It was like, I don't know. It was dark. I couldn't really see it.
Yeah.
It seemed like falafel.
Yeah. So I don't know. We got a nice sandwich. We got It was a fun ride. I guess looking forward to tomorrow. I don't know. Do you have any anticipations about your feelings about the eclipse?
So I actually haven't really thought much about this at all. Like you messaged me like a month ago asking if maybe I wanted to come with you to the eclipse in Austin.
Right.
And then I was like, yeah, let's talk about it some like the next 2 days or something. And then I dropped the ball on scheduling that. And you're like, all right, I booked my Airbnb. I'm like, all right, good. Daniel's conscientious. But I was sort of like, I didn't go to the last one because I was running an event.
Yeah.
This might be this one. So the next one in North America is 2044.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is probably the last one in North America, at least, before the world ends, and whichever way that goes. Yeah, I don't know if your listeners are like woke to the world maybe ending.
I think it would be hard for them to come across this and not come across like AI doom worries.
Okay.
There will be one before then in or before the next North American eclipse. There's going to be one in Australia.
Yeah.
So
Which you
come
know
to
about.
Australia.
Yeah. I go to Australia. Yeah. So
But you haven't thought about it much.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it much. I sort of had like a vague like, yeah, I want to go to this one. I missed the last one. I want to go to this one. I didn't really make any plans. 2 days ago, I had like casually been talking with Rafe and Ben about maybe we were going to drive, but then Rafe didn't want to do it because it was too much time, and Ben was like, well, there's clouds, and there had been like discussion of this, but it was very casual. We didn't really have plans to do it.
Keep talking.
You need to check something.
Yeah, you didn't really have plans.
And then I, yeah, and then we were gonna go to Austin, which was like the nearest place where we could see the totality.
Yeah.
From Berkeley, but it seemed like Austin was gonna be cloudy, and then so I happened to just like check 2 days ago, like let me just look at the cloud map. I'm like, all right, could fly to Illinois or something. I think seems like that would work, and I messaged Rafe and Ben being like, do you guys want to get on a plane and fly somewhere? And they were already on the East Coast, basically, and already had plans. I was like, oh, okay, can I glom onto your plans? But this is very... And then, I bought a flight yesterday for today.
Right.
So I'm like flying by the seat of my pants.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in sort of a similar position where like a while ago I booked this like thing for Austin, and then I didn't really think about it, and then like I get in, and there's someone kindly adds me to a group chat, being like, hey, we were thinking of maybe flying to, I guess the original plan was like, God, somewhere in the Midwest, to see the eclipse. And maybe you wanted to come, so I sort of like hitched on to that.
Yeah, I do think I would have had a better experience if I had booked my flights one day earlier. Like
oh yeah.
Buying flights the day before, they're kind of expensive.
How much did you pay?
Many options. About $400 for a one-way flight.
Ooh.
It's okay. It's not like a...
Yeah, I paid like $750 for the return ticket.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't like...
Have you got a return ticket?
No.
Oh.
I'm gonna figure that out. I thought maybe I would take a train back, but probably that's gonna be even more expensive.
But it might be really fun.
Maybe.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, actually, this gets to a thing that. So I don't know. I've made plans for seeing the eclipse, and I have a sense. I missed it like the last time. I kind of want to see it, but also like, I don't know if it will actually be good.
Yeah.
There's one possibility where it's an awesome reminder of like the power of like we're like there really are balls in space, and you're reminded of your position in the universe, and you see this thing that like
there
humbled
really are
the nations.
Balls
yeah,
in
yeah,
space.
yeah.
Yes.
This like miraculous event that like humbled nations in the past. Or it could be like, I've seen it be dark before.
Yeah, right.
This is like Tiny Night.
I've heard sort of mixed thing. I've heard some people be like, it's amazing. It's like the coolest thing. Like the birds all freak out because suddenly it's night. And like definitely do it again. And other people being like, yeah, it was a thing. But I don't know. I'm sort of like the eclipse is an occasion. It's more like, you should just go have adventures sometimes. You should be like, yeah, the flights are a little bit expensive. Yeah, I'm not going to sleep that well, but I'm just going to go and I'm going to see what happens and like hang out with some friends and, those sorts of events.
The hanging out with friends aspect is definitely like, I think I would not have like made last minute plan switches if I was just going to be on my own.
Yeah,
especially because I have a bunch of friends in Austin who I kind of want to see.
Right.
Yeah, it does seem nice. I guess the closest thing I've done is like, when I was in undergrad, there was like a transit of Venus that like, I don't know, it was some planet like, or it was some planet crossing across the sun, I think, or maybe it was crossing across Venus. Anyway.
Okay, that seems pretty importantly different. Like the moon is the same size.
Yeah,
as the sun
it was very
from
different.
Earth.
Like it was, you had to like get you had to look at a telescope to like see it.
Yeah.
It was like, but even that, so I don't know, that was kind of cool in that it was like, oh wow, these these things are very. I don't know. I remember I was describing afterwards, and I was like, oh yeah, like the sun's really far away, and there are planets, and they move relative to each other. And someone's like, yeah, buddy, I went to high school too. But like,
Yeah, okay, but you like learn it.
yeah,
Like you grok it.
yeah. I mean, on the one hand, like it was kind of cool. Also, I don't know. I like watched it for I don't know, a minute or something, and I could see a bit of visible movement. And then I got bored and walked away.
Yeah.
So, you know, this should be more impressive. So hopefully it'll take longer before I'm bored. I don't know. I'm also pushing to like try and like see the whole thing from like the start of the partial eclipse to the end of the partial eclipse, which is like a 2-hour period. So
Okay.
hopefully it maintains my attention then. Maybe I can do some podcasting during the partial eclipse.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
I will probably get bored. I'll probably like start processing my notes like 30 minutes in to the totality or something.
Cool. Well, I guess, is there anything else you want to say?
I don't know. For me, I'm sort of like, the eclipse is the occasion, sort of going on an impromptu road trip with some people that I know, including some people that I don't know super well, but are like socially connected to me. I don't know. It seems like I should do more of that. Like,
Yeah. I guess it's also kind of attractive to be, yeah, partially it's like road trip with friends, occasion to like try something new. I think it's also a little bit cool to be in this like national eclipse fever, you know?
Yeah.
Like the guy at the gas station was like going to see it, like.
Yeah. I was talking
That's
to
a bit-
people on the plane.
Oh yeah.
They're like, yeah, everyone sort of knows about it.
Right.
And we all kind of relate to it in the, like, I don't know if we all relate to it in the same way. There's a kind of like lowest common denominator thing to it. Like it's not like some like most of the things that are important to me. If I tried to explain to a person on the plane, I'm like, the version that they're gonna understand is not the version that I have. But like here, it's just like, yeah, I don't know, the sun's maybe gonna go out. That seems kind of cool
hope it
to
comes
see.
Back.
No, we know it's gonna.
Yeah. We all know it's gonna come back.
The baby is wrong. The sun's gonna be covered up. That seems kind of cool to see. Yeah, let's like, you can imagine a person wanting to see it. Let's like go try.
Yeah.
I don't know. So it's sort of like it's not exactly like a bonding thing, but like I'm on the same page with the guy in the gas station.
Is there anything you think like posterity will want to know about like what it was like in the pre-2024 eclipse times? Because this is like the last time we can record any such thing.
Oh boy, I mean, I don't think the main like deadline that people will want to know what was it like before then will be the 2024 eclipse.
Yeah.
And probably I don't know what the things are that people will want. Like I don't know what the future will be like, such that I know what to compare it to.
Exactly. I guess like I wonder if there will be any good memes post eclipse. Like I remember the last eclipse, there was some like I don't know, there were all these people telling you like definitely don't look at the sun with unshielded eyes, you know, use the eclipse glasses, and there's this picture of like Donald Trump just like looking at the sun, and like yeah, just like with his hand shaded a bit.
Okay.
And I don't know, it's like it's relatable. Look. I've looked at the sun. It was fine. Like I don't know. I guess you're not supposed to do it for too long.
Yeah. Have I told you about sun gazers?
I don't know if you told me about them, but I've heard of them. But tell the listeners about sun gazers.
Okay, so I watched a documentary about this with my mom.
Yep.
In like 2013 or something.
Yep.
So there's like a small subculture of people that look at the sun directly for 45 minutes every morning and 45 minutes every evening. Because they believe that if you look at the sun, you can absorb the energy of the sun through your optic nerve.
That sounds right, actually.
Well, and then you won't need to eat. It is a substitute for eating.
If only.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is false.
Yeah.
Now, most of them do still eat. They're like not advanced enough sun gazers. In the documentary, also, there was a guy who like claimed he hadn't eaten in 40 years. But the documentary crew followed him going into an Indian restaurant and, ordering a bunch of food. And then he saw that there was the documentary crew following him, and he sort of rushed out. I think.
How much is this? Just like people being confused, or is there like a grift element to this?
So the fact that the guy was lying apparently seems like a grift, the guy doing the documentary was doing this practice, and I don't think that he was grifting. He went to an ophthalmologist. The ophthalmologist was like, "You have burns on the like backs of your eyes," and he was like really distraught about this. And she's looking at him like, "I don't know what you were thinking, man. This is
yeah." I guess like so. I don't know. It seems like the kind of thing that might be a grift, but also like,
look
if there's a procedure of like look at the sun 45 minutes in the morning and 45 minutes in the evening, like you don't have to send a guy a bunch of money to do that, right?
Yeah, that's right. I don't know. I think you'd be surprised at how griftiness like
yeah. I guess
eats its way into
there's always
stuff
notebooks and like
yeah, that's right.
regimens and
Or you just go to the workshop.
the sun gazer diet. Oh, workshops.
Yeah,
right, of course.
You want to meet the sun gazer guru
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So things like this are always like a combination of grifting and earnest mistaken believers.
Yeah. So how did we get onto the sun gazers? I guess it was about
Donald Trump shouldn't look at the sun.
Yeah, which was an instance of like pre-solstice. I keep on saying solstice instead of eclipse.
Both sun things.
Yeah. I guess I hope that there will be like fun eclipse-related memes coming after this. So
okay.
Posterity, please make that happen for us.
All right. I mean, I would expect eclipse memes to mostly happen before the eclipse.
Yeah, I mean, if some like piece of news happens during the eclipse, that could be cool. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Cool. Well, I guess we'll sign off for now, and I'll talk to you listeners tomorrow. Okay, hi all. It's 1:14 a.m. I've just learned that we're going to be leaving at 11 a.m. tomorrow. And also I remembered a thing I want to say, which is late during the drive, I managed to sort of take over the music, and I claim that when you're doing a road trip in New England, contra music is sort of the ideal music to have in the background. So contra is this kind of like American, English, French Canadian country dance form that kind of centers in New England. So it's very New Englandy. It's like kind of fiddle centric. It's instrumental, so there's no words. I don't know, I think it sounds nice, and I enjoyed forcing my musical tastes on my fellow travelers. So that was a notable enough aspect of my experience that I thought it was worth sharing with you all. Good morning, dear listeners. It's now 10:38 a.m. on Monday, the day of the eclipse. I've woken up in my Airbnb, and it's a really nice Airbnb. Lots of skiing related signs, so I guess that's what people normally come here for. And we're surrounded by beautiful trees sort of growing out of a lovely snowy landscape, and across from us is some snowy mountains with snowy ski slopes that one can ski down, and it's all very picturesque. We're currently waiting for, I guess, people to wake up and prepare to, get going on the road to New Hampshire to see the eclipse. So that's the status. All right. Hello, dear listeners. It is now 12:18 p.m. and we're in the town of Errol, New Hampshire, and I'm here with Ben. Ben is the person who has driven us all the way and booked all the Airbnbs, so thank you very much, Ben.
Anytime, except probably not, you don't have many opportunities, but...
Yeah. So, how have you found the drive up to Errol, New Hampshire?
It's been nice, I mean, yesterday there was no traffic at all. It was just kind of pleasant, and, we had some difficulties with the rental car at first.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And then today there is a bunch of traffic, but it's it's still moving pretty quickly.
Yeah, it was not as bad as I was sort of worried about the traffic being. So yeah, we're and very scenic drive, I've got to say.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
It's nice. I mean, yeah, mostly I'm looking at the road and things that are in front of me, but like, it's nice. There's some cool mountains with wind farms on top of them, and yeah, the sky is very clear, which is good.
Yeah. Yes, the nary a cloud to be seen in the sky, which is quite exciting. We're currently stopped at this gas station. It's an LL Coat store. So Ben is like staying in the car, but I can inform you that it is packed in there. Lots of people buying stuff. Lots of people queuing for the bathroom. Just tons of people around. Errol, New Hampshire. I think the population is like 300 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
So I guess it's like probably more than doubling today. So yeah, I guess currently people are, well, the people in our party are buying food for the Eclipse. I'm doing a fun thing called Eclipse fasting, which is where it turns out I ate a lot in previous days, and I don't want to go to the hassle of
Also
getting
eating
food.
today.
Yeah, or figuring out like, I've got to like buy food and then I've got to eat it, like, and all the stores are really packed. So yeah, hopefully that should be fun.
Yeah. I'm glad we got gas yesterday. Although
Oh yeah.
gas here is approximately $5, so that's neat.
Oh, it is if you pay via Irving debit,
Yeah.
which I guess you probably can't. The regular price is $3.34 and 9 tenths per gallon, probably.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm more. So what are you? So we're gonna see an eclipse soon. I'm wondering, like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I haven't seen one before. I think it seemed like this was going to be the last chance in North America to see one for quite a while.
Yeah.
Total solar eclipse, anyway. And yeah, I don't know. I think it seems like it's a cool thing to do. I want to have a shared experience with like all of the other people who are going to see the eclipse or something. I'm not that interested in the actual experience of the eclipse, but it's more like, I don't know. I think it's cool to do things with people.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people doing a thing at the same time, so it's kind of neat.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. I don't know, I think I have hope that it's actually going to be quite cool to have the sun blotted out from the sky.
I have heard that, and also, I mean, like there was the smoke a few years ago in San Francisco where like there was a day when it was basically nighttime at 10 a.m. and that really, I flipped out about that. My emotional state was just very weird that day.
Huh.
So I hope that doesn't happen today, because then we might have to find a different driver while I'm sort of frothing in the back.
Right. Well, hopefully the fact that it's only 2 minutes long should make it better, or 3 minutes if we drive a bunch more. So yeah, actually, so here's logistics talk. Do you think we're gonna drive further up, or just stay here?
I guess. I mean, so we need to find some place to park, and I guess we can just sit in the car until the thing, or we can find some place to sit outside. It does seem like probably, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure if I should expect there to be more places to park further up or fewer. Like naively, except that actually the whole thing about like we're currently near the edge of the path of totality, where like the gradient as you move into the path, like you get like for each additional foot you move, you get like an extra minute of totality or something. That's not quite right, obviously, but like but then like near the center there's very little, like there's sort of like there's no additional benefit in terms of how much eclipse you see for each like mile you move.
Yeah, one of the things that is actually I don't know, maybe if I were good at physics or something this would be obvious, but like like near the edges it's just like a lot of like gained eclipse time or gained totality time per mile, but it's like super concentrated near the edges, and then once you're not in the edge of the path of totality it's super flat. And I don't really get why that's
confused about this too. Like I would have, surely it should just be like
sinusoidal, right? Or
well, not, I don't, yeah, I guess it should just be a sine wave, shouldn't it? Or not even,
or one might think.
Well, no, wait, I think it should just be what happens if you like take a circle and
oh,
you,
it's
like,
the
project it
convolution of some shit.
Is it?
Maybe?
Wait.
No,
I don't think
this
it's
is the
the
time of
I
no,
think
never
it's
mind.
just the integral of a circle is what you should expect, right? or like no, not even the integral, just like the value of a circle, like twice the circle, right? Or like an ellipse. I guess
that
it's probably
seems
an
plausible. Yeah.
Because like, right, at a given moment, the shadow of the moon would be a circle, and I guess I think I would expect it to be moving at a constant rate. Oh, but it's straight, and the Earth's surface is curved.
Oh, that can't matter that much. Also, I think it's an ellipse and not a circle. I think because the Earth is like tilted away.
Oh yeah, sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
That's why sure. So the sphericalness of the Earth does matter, but
yeah.
just for
Also, I've just seen a picture of the shadow and it's an ellipse. That's why I believe that.
Yeah,
and then I'm like, oh, I think it's because of the tilting or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, but that makes sense. Like, right, sorry, it is a circle, but then like locally it's projected onto a thing.
Yeah.
At an angle.
So okay, so it's possible that we'll drive further on, or it's possible we'll stay here in Errol.
Yeah. That seems true.
Yeah, and I guess so. One other member of our party is here, and then a few more in the store. I guess we can like discuss it once people are back. Yeah.
But I imagine people are. I mean, I don't know. At this point, I'm like, yeah, I think we're probably going to see the eclipse, and I'm excited. I don't really care too much about the details.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be happy to do it here.
Probably not in this parking lot. There's an attendant who's, seems pretty strict about the customers. Which, I mean, we are customers, but I don't.
We are customers. Maybe. So one thing I'm kind of curious about is like, so there are a ton of people in this parking lot in this area. I don't know like how many of them are like New Englanders who drove up here versus people like us who are tourists from way far out.
Look at the license plates maybe to get like an upper bound on tourists.
Yeah, and most of the license plates are like Massachusetts and Maine and New Hampshire. Like the vast majority are.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you want to count people from Massachusetts. Hey, slow
down. In case listeners didn't hear, a parking attendant, I don't know, a car sort of went really fast past another car, and a parking attendant yelled out, "Hey, slow down!" But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, cool. Well, I guess it seems like our Eclipse review is concluded. Does that seem right to you?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else especially interesting to say, really. I guess I am excited. I got these welding goggles.
Oh yeah.
One additional thing that I have never worn, and I'm excited to try them out.
Right.
Looking at the Eclipse, while all you scrubs are using these little paper folding glasses.
Yeah. I am kind of excited to see whether I'm able to take a photo of the eclipse with my smartphone, which using the filter thing. All right, our party is coming back. I think we'll conclude this interview. Goodbye.
I'm going to tell Ollie and Act and I want it. So.
All right. Hello, dear listeners. It's 1:36 p.m. We're here in Pittsburgh, New Hampshire. I would say that the traffic here has been basically fine. And we're right by a lake, and we think that this is where we want to view the eclipse. So it's exciting. Plans are eventuating. Stuff's getting real, so that's pretty cool. My other field recorder seems like it's maybe broken, so I don't know how much audio we've lost. But people in the background are joking. They're lying. Don't listen to them. All right. Well, I'll talk to you more later, maybe after the partial eclipse begins. All right, hello dear listeners. It's 1:46 p.m. We're currently on this frozen lake. It's very beautiful. We're currently enjoying the spectacle of just looking at the sun. It turns out you can just look at the sun normally with eclipse glasses. It doesn't need to be an eclipse. So, for kind of light meter calibration reasons, I'm going to give you a lux reading right now. So right now outside it is like 65 kilolux. So quite bright. And the eclipse has not at all started, of course. So I think like 2:15 is when the start of the partial eclipse will be, and then like the total eclipse is 3:30ish. Probably part of what's helping the lux is just the big white lake right in front of us. It's reflecting a lot of light. Anyway, it's a cool time. We're enjoying this, except for one of us who is back in the car. But apart from that, it's all very cool.
Sorry, is it a coincidence?
Why is that?
Okay, it's now
It's just because
2:17
things are far
p.m.
enough away that they, like, the
and we
rounding errors
think we
are
can see a
small.
little
No, I think it's
divot
more like,
in the
it's
sun.
common size for moons.
Um,
relative to the size of the planet.
But it's a bit hard to tell.
And a common distance.
We're currently discussing how weird it is that eclipses
Distribution
happen.
distance on moons.
Like the fact that the moon is roughly the size of the sun. Is that unusual? Who knows? Talk to you more later.
Flat when there are two spheres in the sky. I don't know. Of course, is
Alright,
But the sky is clearly much bigger than
we're
12
talking a bunch about
moons, or 24.
the path of the moon across the sun. It's 2:23 p.m. I've now put the lux meter still, and it's 58.3 kilolux, right where the lux meter is. You can now definitely see that the sun is not just a circle. Something's going on.
I feel like that must match
So,
my experience because
that's
it
pretty
was-
cool.
It was a very full moon.
Okay, it is now 2:36, and you can definitely see a chunk taken out of the sun, assuming, of course, you're wearing your Eclipse glasses. So it's cool. Something's definitely going on. We've heard from other people on this lake, really overheard, that apparently the path of totality, or the spot of totality, has now reached the United States. That's kind of cool. If you weren't looking at the sun, I'm not sure you would notice anything different. So the lux meter right now has like 51.7, 51.8 kilolux. I don't know how much of that is actually like the moon is blocking the sun versus other things. But yeah, so that is the current situation. I'll talk more later. Hello again, listeners. The current time is 2:43. We're now at like 50 kilolux, so definitely something's going on. And sure enough, when you look at the sun with your Eclipse glasses on, there's a quite sizable chunk taken out of it. It looks like a somewhat fat lunar crescent. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool looking at the sun. One sad thing is my phone camera and my camera do not seem to be good enough to capture what it looks like. Under the condition that I'm putting the filter on. By the way, don't just like look at the sun or even take a photo of the sun without protection, because you'll break your camera or your eye. But yeah, that's the deal. Check in later. Okay, hello dear listeners. It is now 3:01 p.m. Somebody is eclipse fiddling over on the shore.
You can't escape the country music.
We can't escape the country music, yeah.
just like
It's 34 kilolux right now, so it's, I guess, getting noticeably darker. It's also getting noticeably colder, at least to the sensor. I'm not sure if I can tell it's getting darker. Looking at the sun, there's like a quite big chunk out of it.
I mean, that feels
Like-
like substantially less than half. So
like-
I'm actually kind of confused about our experimental data, but I'm not that good.
More
at
than half.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
less than half.
approximately
Every
half of the
having
sun is blocked
every
out.
having of the amount of sun that's
roughly.
blocked should be like 1 unit of like perceptual
But,
difference.
Sure, but I'm talking about the lux.
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah.
I guess the lux currently, where are we at?
Like around half.
I think it's about 3/5 of the sun.
Yeah.
What is the current number? Can't see it.
The current number is 33.3
And it
kilolux.
started at 50 something.
Started at like 57.
Okay, so we're actually pretty
Pretty close
close to half. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how the eclipse is going. It's something's definitely happening to the sun going outside. Something's definitely happening to our view of the sun, at least.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like looking around. Actually, I guess my eyes hurt a bit less looking at the icy lake.
That I can look in this direction without
Yeah,
pain.
right.
yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I think if you were paying attention, you can tell something's different. If you weren't, if I wasn't paying attention, I don't think I'd notice. But I think it's kind of cool. So that's the story.
darkness approaching.
Okay, it is 3:10 p.m. When I look at the sun, it's now like properly a sliver. Like now it legit does look like a crescent moon. So I don't know. That is pretty crazy, if you ask me. The light meter says it's now 21.5 kilolux. So it's getting darker. Totality is in not that long from now. The following is the soundtrack of a video that I recorded beginning a couple of minutes before the onset of totality of the eclipse. Okay, it's we're at 500 lux. It feels
It's definitely dark.
definitely darker. At some point the shadow is going to come across us. It really feels like I'm wearing sunglasses or something.
Okay, yeah. It's a solar eclipse.
Unfortunately, I cannot both take this video and look at the sun. But it's
Okay.
can someone look at the sun and describe it?
It's small.
You can see a star.
Okay, it really feels like it's just getting
It's
dark.
just like so sunset. Like my brain is
Oh,
just
yeah.
100% convinced
Yeah,
that
yeah.
behind
Oh my
there.
god. Oh my god.
Oh my god, it's probably white balancing, but
Holy crap!
it's getting dark.
Oh yeah, there's just stars now.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, there are stars in the sky. Oh,
and
That's
look
a
at the horizon.
contrail.
Look at the right side versus the left side of the horizon.
yeah.
It's coming. Like this is it.
Oh yeah, this is probably the shadow.
Woo!
oh my god.
Oh wow. Holy crap. Woo! Oh, holy shit, you can look at the sun.
That is crazy.
It looks crazy. I'm not going to take a video of it.
Wait, I think you can.
I fear for my camera.
But it's so like the reason you can look at it is.
All right, okay. I'm gonna.
Oh my god.
All right.
Wild.
That is what it looks like, and you can kind of see.
What planet am I on?
All right.
There's like a dot. in
It's
the lower
very
right.
different. Yeah, there's this red dot, right?
What's the red dot? Is it like bars or something?
Wow.
I think that's
More like
It's seriously.
actually the
It's
sun.
just dark.
Yeah.
Oh, it's weird because.
Why is there a dot?
No, because that's the sun. Like that's like one little bit.
But that wasn't the side of the sun
It's
that
like
was
a
like
pixel
most
of the
recently
sun.
uncovered.
Oh wow, it's actually cold.
Wow, it did get colder. I would have lost whatever bet I was gonna make with Holly.
It is. We're now at 2 lux, 3 lux.
Yeah,
So
okay, what is that?
Yeah.
it's solidly dark.
I think my guess is no, but if it was Mars, then it wouldn't be reflecting. What is that dot?
Wow. This is what it looks like around the lake.
All right, this is pretty cool. So we can see.
Oh, I'm sorry for not
So
getting
is
the
the
wind
deal
chew.
that there are other areas around us that are still getting light from the
Yeah.
sun, and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
like
That's
we
why
go
it's-
that way.
That's why it's yellow.
Yeah, like it's not total darkness because like within
Wow.
spitting distance, not quite spitting distance, within a near
This is
distance,
pretty wild.
there are people with a partial eclipse.
And you can see little like lines coming off the sun or something, like
Yeah, the corona.
the corona. The corona looks kind of wild.
Yeah, that's the best part.
What the heck is the dot?
Yeah, there's a red dot on the sun.
Or the moon.
I guess it could be on the.
So these people pointing their lasers. Oh, allegedly it's a crater on the moon.
Let's go. Let's make some bets, guys. Full markets. Dude, this photo is so good. It's actually capturing the thing.
Nice.
What's the current lux meter reading?
The current lux meter is 3 lux,
Wow.
so it's getting brighter. Half of the total eclipse is done. Oh yeah, and I'm starting to see like
The horizon.
No, the sun. I feel like it's getting brighter. Oh man.
Yeah, the bottom part.
Wow.
Is getting brighter.
This is dark, but in a very strange
oh my
way.
God.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So cool.
It's breaking.
Oh, I see. Interesting. So it didn't go straight across, really.
Oh yeah.
So we're slightly to the south right now.
Huh.
Wow, that's really a lot of light from a tiny.
Now it is
sliver.
suddenly.
Yeah, this is amazing.
We're like 40 lux.
Whoa.
It is. So with Eclipse glasses, you're starting to see some sun.
It's like sunrise.
A little tiny bit of it.
A little tiny sliver, yeah. Whoa.
Yeah, you now cannot really look at the sun with your naked eyes.
Feels like we're in the Arctic or something.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
it
getting
really-
brighter now.
When it was happening, it felt Arctic-y.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this looks lit up. We're now at like 200 lux, so this is like a normal room amount of light.
It is changing so fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's such a little sliver.
Oh wow, there are birds in the sky. Maybe they were always in the sky, and I'm just noticing them now.
So
But
a
a
lot of what we're being impressed with is that
little bit of the sun.
our sensory apparatus is logarithmic.
Yeah. I think that's right.
Yes. Okay, we're at 500 lux.
Like it's sort of a feature about.
This is a relatively
biology
bright
more than
room.
It's a feature about
Yeah.
astronomy.
Right. Like you might have thought that it would get progressively darker and then brighter,
Yeah.
like linearly, roughly. But that's not what happened at all. Even
Or
though it sort of
perceptually.
physically did.
Yeah, right.
Even though it's physically
All right. Well,
All right, 800 lux. Now you're like near a window in your room.
speak for yourself.
Okay, I'm gonna turn off this video now. Sorry, posterity.
Should we?
Ooh, okay, hello, dear listeners. It is currently 3:42, and that was pretty wild. I don't know what to tell you. It got really dark, all of a sudden. Yeah, it started. So during the partial eclipse, it started like getting like visibly darker eventually. You know, you started seeing the sun crescent grow smaller and smaller. And then there was totality, and it was just really, really dark. It was a really cool moment, I think. You know, you could just look at the sun, and there was like little light around the moon. There was a little red dot on one of the edges that like somebody said was a crater. I don't know if that's true. Yeah, outside, like there were like the sun had like there were sort of like rays going out from it. It was like kind of a cool look. I guess you can. It's hard to describe in words. I guess you can see photos. But yeah, I don't know. It got cooler. Just in terms of temperature. There was a cool atmosphere among viewers of the eclipse. And I think the general consensus is that nobody seems to want to watch the partial eclipse the other way around. So our group is walking back to our car. But yeah, so here's some more cool things. So one thing is that if you made a really small hole with your hand, like the light going through it, it was like you could see the sun crescent thing. And oh, hey guys, look at the shadow. It's little crescents. Like the shadows on the road. Yeah, so even now you see these you know, little bits of shadow or little bits of light are crescent shaped because that's what the sun looks like, and they're little pinhole cameras. So that was really cool. Another thing that was really cool is right when totality ended, the you know, for a brief moment you could see a little part of the sun, and it was, I don't know, it was sort of like a ring, you know, like some sort of diamond ring. So that was wild. All in all, that was really cool. That was a quite awesome experience. I that's my review, and yeah, heading back to the car now. Hello, dear listeners. It is currently 10:10 p.m. Right now, we are stuck in a car. There's a bunch of cars stopped ahead of us.
We're not stuck in the car.
Yeah, we could leave the car whenever we want.
Yeah, we can.
The car is stuck in traffic.
The car is stuck in traffic. We could leave the car if we wanted to, which we don't.
Yeah, we have left the car.
We have left the car very briefly. So you might ask, where are we? The answer is we're between Bethlehem, New Hampshire, and Franconia, New Hampshire. The same places we've been between for the past hour or so.
More than that.
Basically, our broad plan is to drive. So we left the Eclipse like 3:45. That was sort of at the northern tip of New Hampshire, and our plan was, okay, we'll drive to Boston, and hopefully we will be there, at a time when we will be able to get home and sleep, and then wake up in the morning to go to our flights. How much of the distance between the tip of New Hampshire and Boston have we covered? If I very roughly estimate, it is a third of the distance, and it's been 6 hours, maybe 6.5 hours, something like that. So that's sort of the state we're in. There's discussion of whether, yes, New Hampshire. There's discussion of whether we might get some food. There's discussion of whether we'll run out of gas. There's discussion of we're sort of imagining that at some point we will not be parked in traffic, but it's unclear if that's actually true or not.
They might just write off this whole stretch of like the country in terms of roads.
Yeah.
Tourists might come and visit.
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't know. That's kind of the situation. Who knows how long we will get back in. There's we've made a manifold market about the question, but the only people who have bet in the manifold market are people who are currently in the car.
And we don't have good information.
And we don't have good information because we don't have amazing internet service.
We could probably call someone and figure this out, or text someone and be like, tell us, right? We have technology that's not manifold markets.
Yeah, it's possible we could text someone to reach the outside world. Unclear, but I don't know, possible. So yeah, that's the status. I don't know. People in the car. Are there things I should mention for the podcast listening public?
I don't know what
We're
they
about
can
to start moving.
Oh,
We're going to move one car length up because one car gave up and went the other way.
That's right.
yeah. So some people are giving up. Oh yeah, we've also just had this fun task of Google Maps and Waze have different directions, and we've been sort of juggling which ones to take. That was a while ago. Now we're just sort of stuck either way. But that was kind of an exciting adventure of will we follow Google Maps? Will we follow Waze? A part I thought was exciting is we spent a while in Vermont driving down the highway, which is right next to the river, which is the border between Vermont and New Hampshire, near the north of those two states. So yeah, that's some stuff. Hopefully, I really hope that I get on my plane from Boston at noon tomorrow. And I think I will, but I'm not certain I will.
Less clear about the 6 a.m. people.
Yeah, the 6 a.m. people. Wow, good luck, you guys.
In retrospect, we should have booked the Airbnb for 2 nights.
Well, but not for the 6 a.m. people.
But,
they shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, we haven't.
I think we definitely didn't. I think no one predicted that it would be quite this bad.
Yeah, we have an Airbnb in Somerville, Massachusetts, which is right near Boston, for Monday night.
I did think that Asia would not be able to get a flight tonight, so at least we did predict it would be kind of bad.
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear this. We're discussing how much of this we predicted, and the answer is
Not much.
not as much as one might have hoped. Anyway, that's our status. I don't know. It'll probably be a while before we check in again, because it will probably be a while before anything changes.
There's incremental progress.
Well,
But yeah, time will pass.
We're gonna have an adventure where we drive. I think we and 1,000 of our closest friends are all gonna drive to the same gas station, it's like the opposite direction of traffic once we hit this next road, and that's gonna be an exciting time.
Yeah.
Wow, you're predicting that it won't be just us.
Well,
Oh, of course not, because everyone else has the same gas gauge as we
It's a
do.
dumb question, but like, do we like we're stationary right now? Are we using gas?
No.
not very much. A tiny
Is
bit.
gas proportional to like how does it scale with like distance travel
I
versus?
mean, we definitely are like traveling in the most inefficient way.
Yeah.
Just stop and go.
Right, because we don't get to use
The
it.
car does shut off the engine like when it stopped. Like I think right now the engine is stopped, and if I go, it'll. Oh no, okay, it wasn't, but it normally does. Not sure why it didn't there.
All right.
I could try and stop the engine more reliably. We currently have like a third of a tank, and I don't think that we should try to go to the gas station after.
So I don't know.
Some cars that like when the hood opened up and you could talk to like the cars in front of you and behind you.
Yeah.
So that's the situation. It's unclear whether we will run out of gas or not. Who knows? And also, some people are walking by our car,
With dogs.
and with
With a
dogs.
dog.
With a dog, and they're going faster than we are
Significantly
By a
faster.
lot. Yeah.
by a lot.
They're creaming us.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the status. Goodbye, dear listeners. We'll
Hopefully
talk
not
to you
the last
later.
time.
Hopefully not for the last time.
Wow, we made
All right, hello everyone. It's 11:18 p.m. We just turned around. We're currently not stuck in traffic anymore. We're currently driving past an incredibly long road of cars that are just all stopped.
miles long.
Yes, it's really so. Yeah, basically what our thought is that Google Maps is just wrong, is fundamentally wrong about how much traffic we're in for. And as far on this particular stretch, it seems like every other part of the highway is just fine. We just picked the one bit of road in New Hampshire that was totally blocked.
And we
This
have
is our
reason for
guess.
thinking that.
Yeah, we have reason. Yeah, according to NewEngland511.org or something, and yeah, we have some reasons to think that. We have good reasons, allegedly. So
Also,
you know,
it's just. Yeah. Also, the news articles. There aren't
yes,
news
there
articles.
aren't.
Oh
We
my
would
God.
expect there to. Oh wow,
Oh my God.
there's so many cars backed up. Yeah. Also, if
This
it were
is
like
like
this the
5
whole way,
miles of
we would expect there to
cars.
be
Some of
many
them
news
don't drive,
articles.
Like it kind of, like it has some.
Like this Doctor Who episode that you guys.
Yeah, it's like a Doctor Who episode that we don't want to be spoiled for. Anyway, so yeah, I guess the news is we're driving, we're going fast. We are going north, which is not,
The opposite direction.
which is the opposite direction of where we eventually want to end up going. But we have this belief that that we'll be able to turn around and it'll be fast and everything will be good.
We take our beliefs
So
seriously.
fingers crossed for that. Anyway, that's
We want
our
to go left or right.
that's our status.
I think you're not capturing how emotionally draining it is to look at this line
Yeah, it's
This line is-
amazing to look at this line of just
and to know that I
blocked
was in it,
cars.
and they don't know what they're in for. I do think we're supposed to tell them.
Yeah, one person in our car wishes we could communicate this
There are too many of them.
to all of these cars.
It makes a difference to this one.
Yeah. So one
Look.
calculation for like stopping every 5 minutes and then walking to all the cars and being like does it break even with Batman?
Look,
You know?
we
If we stop every 5 minutes, then
we
the
don't
cars
have to
behind us
stop
will
every 5 minutes. We just
No, no, I
need to
mean,
tell
we find
one
this-
car
we find a
and
parking
say,
spot so that we
you
don't block the
walk
road.
over to the next car and tell them. Walk over to the next car and tell
You're not
them.
very good at
Really
clients,
cool.
are you?
Oh yeah.
Really cool to do. I mean, here's what we could do. We could like, if we do turn a direction, we could go in a circle and then come back up this road and tell everybody, right? Like if we learn that you can't go south on some other road, then we could do that.
That is an interesting point, but
Should we do it?
That would
that
fuck
would
us
take,
over.
it would take a long
So
time.
much time.
Yeah.
But,
But also, all of these people are just gonna have a terrible night.
So if you can't hear, we're thinking of schemes to save all the people stuck in
There's
this traffic.
so many of
I
them.
feel like a
There are
police.
hundreds of people in this, thousands of people in this line.
I feel like a police
Yeah.
car was supposed to drive along and tell them to turn around.
I
If it
agree.
in fact
I
is
agree.
correct.
Yeah.
All right, civilizational inadequacy, man.
This is how I'm learning
I
that
think
I'm less
certainly if we
altruistic than the
can
average
go
person in this
around-
car.
I think certainly if we learn that we can go around and come back up this road, we should do it.
I would totally.
Anyway, other things to say. Oh yeah, at some point we like tried to phone someone in California to help us because we didn't have good internet, but I guess we eventually got good internet.
Maybe it's a drunk.
So,
Oh yeah. He pulled someone over.
Yeah.
oh yeah, a
someone
police
driving the
car
wrong
had
way.
just driven
Yeah,
someone
could
over,
be.
pulled
Also,
someone over.
Do we need to hold on? I think we need to let this ambulance across.
Anyway, so that's what's going on. I hope you enjoyed this update from our drive. Hello, dear listeners. It is now 3:38 a.m. on Tuesday. We've finally gotten to our Airbnb. Indeed, we just did not need to sit stationary in traffic for so long. That was just a waste. So yeah, eventually we got out. We got driving, down the interstates or the state highways or whatever, the big roads. We got to the Airbnb and I'm so tired. I have a flight at noon tomorrow and I've got to, get to sleep before I take it. Yeah, long drive. Fun to hang out with housemates. I'm really tired. Good night. I'll talk to you tomorrow, I guess. Hello, dear listeners. It's 10:57 a.m. I am just outside gate 30 of Terminal B of Boston Logan International Airport. I just had a really nice burger. There's a good vegan, there's a good burger place like around these gates in Terminal B, Boston Airport. Got a vegan burger. It was like $13. Really nice. Anyway, yeah, I'm about to get my flight to New York and then connecting to San Francisco. Yeah, what do I want to say? I guess, I will say I'm a little bit sad that the dominant memory of the Eclipse I have is the driving, and I don't know, that was kind of fun because, you're in a car with a bunch of friends and there's a challenge and you're trying to fix the challenge. But I don't know, the Eclipse was very cool. I wish it were a bit more prominent in my mind. I recently learned that red dot is something called a solar prominence. I'm sure you guys can look it up. But yeah, that was the Eclipse. That was a lot of... Oh, I slept very nice last night. It was only like 5 hours I could fit in, but it was a restful 5 hours. So, yeah, I'm not sure what there is to say. I guess the Eclipse was cool. I'm glad I saw it. I guess it might be good to do one more Eclipse interview with friends, talk about how it was. Oh, one somewhat ironic thing, apparently it ended up being clear skies in Austin during totality, so I guess I didn't need to come all this way, but, that's adventure for you, I guess. Alright, yeah, signing off, at least for now. Hello, dear listeners. To tell you the truth, I don't know exactly what time it is. I'm currently, sometime in the middle of a flight from Newark to San Francisco. All I know about where I am is when I looked out the window, the ground was sort of divided into squares, so some sort of farmland. So, I don't know, maybe I'm over Kansas or something. The flight's been pretty restful, pretty nice. The one kind of sad thing is it turns out that one of my traveling companions tested positive for COVID, and I learned this just before this flight took off, so put on my, duckbill-shaped N95 mask. Other than that, I'm not sure there's tons to be done. I think I feel basically fine. It felt kind of warm in Newark Airport. I felt kind of cold on the airplane, but I think that's just, the temperature of those places, and, on the plane, putting on the jacket has solved things, so who knows what my condition is. I did spend, at least 10 hours in the car with this guy, so maybe I won't be sick. Anyway, I also hope that he gets well soon. I guess that's about all there is to say. Maybe I'll check in later. Goodbye for now. Okay, hello, dear listeners. It is now Thursday, 9:17 p.m., and I'm here at home with my friend
Ben.
Ben, who did all the driving and organized the trip. So I don't know. It's been a few days out. What do you think about the trip?
It was fun. I think, yeah, overall, basically as I expected, which is to say it was pretty cool. I think, yeah, I'm trying to it's pretty weird because I remember some things about the event that I don't know. Like, I can't. It seems sort of fake in retrospect.
How does it
Like,
seem fake?
in particular, how the corona looked. Like, I kind of can't imagine that it really looked that way or something. Like, I'm wondering if I sort of like hallucinated it based on other photos that I had seen or something.
How do you think the corona looked?
Well, okay, it was sort of bright, not like bright, but like brighter than anything around it.
Yeah.
I think my recollection, which I think is the part that seems kind of crazy if true, is like it had these weird swirling like shapes to it.
Oh, huh.
Which were like fairly static. And like when I look at photos that people took, it doesn't have those. And so I think I may have hallucinated them. Like most of the photos have sort of lines of light leaving the edge and no swirling shapes.
Yeah, my recollection is like lines coming out. Also, like a lot of brightness, like sort of thick lines near the surface, and then like fewer ones sort of going out, and like about as much light from the corona. Like the lit up area is sort of similar to the dark disk of the sun.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Also, I was sort of preoccupied with like taking the video that I didn't like. Maybe
right.
I didn't appreciate it as much as I could have.
Yeah. That is interesting. Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
Some people who didn't come to the Eclipse are coming, but it's fine. They can hang out.
But I guess they're not going to for some reason. Okay.
All right, maybe later.
Oh no, I didn't know that you were coming over.
It's fine.
I kind of want to postpone the rest of this.
All right, let's do it. Okay, we paused, but we are recording again.
Yeah. Anyway, so some confusion over what it actually looked like and whether I'm sort of confabulating my memory of that. Yeah, I think it was really great to see all the people for a period of time. It was short. It involved a lot of traveling per event.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I think the most memorable thing for me is the traffic on the way back. Like, I think that feels like somehow, I don't know. I'm not sure if you will include some other description of how this went in your podcast episode. Or if your listeners will already know what I mean by this, but if not, on the way back, we experienced. Sorry, this is on the way back to Boston from basically the Canadian border in. I guess that was New Hampshire.
It was New Hampshire, yeah.
We experienced some really bad traffic, like incredibly bad traffic. There was like a stretch of road that we were on for about 3 hours that was like maybe 3 miles. And in retrospect, this is, I think, because that stretch of road was just like trying to get onto a highway that was like entirely blocked because of an accident.
Yeah. Also, it was a 1-lane highway.
Yeah, that's right. It was, one lane in the sense of like 1 lane in each direction.
Yeah.
We didn't have internet for most of this time, or had very spotty internet for most of this time we were on that stretch of road. And then eventually we got internet enough to look to see if this was like how it was elsewhere in the state. We had been kind of assuming that it was because, crazy eclipse traffic, we'd sort of been mentally prepared for that.
and we found out, I think that it, or at least I don't know exactly found out. We found evidence that this was a unique thing to the particular spot of road that we were on. So we turned around, and we're sort of. I think at that point I felt about 60% sure that other places, other routes back to Boston would be like nearly traffic free. So we turned around and took the lane going the other direction, which was nearly free of traffic, and had been, like, we'd seen a few cars, suspiciously at the same moments when we got to move forward. We'd seen a few cars going the other direction, and so we did this. We turned around and sort of followed those guys, and at that time, Eli, who was one of the people on the trip, mentioned like that he thought that we should stop and try to alert people what we had learned, that like this was an unusual spot of traffic, and that actually they would almost certainly be better off turning around as well, and maybe try to start some kind of chain reaction where we could sort of help all these people get going faster. At first, initially, I mean, so I was driving. Unfortunately, I think in retrospect, I was not very receptive to this. I think so. Partly, Eli had been, with a similar level of intensity, asking us if we could get some food for him at a grocery store.
Price Chopper.
Price Chopper. That's right. He was very, very specifically wanted to go to Price Chopper.
I think because it was the nearest one that was
Yeah.
open late. I don't think he was devoted to Price Chopper in particular.
Yeah, I think that's right.
But he'd been bidding for that.
Indeed. And I was like a little bit like, I had sort of started tuning out his requests at this intensity level. I think that's definitely not all of it. I think there was also some aspect of like, oh man, I just want to be out of here. Like, we just spent so long just sitting here in traffic. Like, it was just like, it had been pretty uncomfortable, and I was really excited to be on the way out. And then, though, I think this was just like clearly a mistake in retrospect. Like, I think we saw, waiting in that line of cars. I don't know. It was at least like hundreds of cars behind us. Well, that had been behind us. All waiting for, what I think we learned was like basically for whatever accident to be cleared and them to eventually get to go. But like the route south, which we were, trying to get back to Boston, I think almost everyone there was probably trying to get back to Boston or south generally. Like, that was just like by far a slower way to get home. And I think, and there were no like state troopers or anything telling people this. It was like very, there was no information available really if you didn't have internet, which, it was tricky to come by. So I think it really would have saved a lot of people a lot of time for us to just sort of stop and alert some people and
if
have
we
them
could have
move.
If we could have made a chain reaction happen, right?
Yeah, that's right. I think if we could have made a chain reaction happen, even if, I think honestly there probably were other things to do. Like, I think we could have rolled down one of the windows and like just been motioning to people like, turn around. Sorry, I'm making a turn around motion with my hand.
Yep.
I think we could have done something like that. Anyway, after we had sort of gotten back onto like proper highways, I sort of realized that I thought this was a mistake. And then we spent a little bit of time trying to convince the highway patrol to like alert people, with I think no success, although it was unclear exactly what the dispatcher was going to do, if anything. Anyway, I felt pretty bad about that. And I think, so Eli, I think is like quite good at sort of noticing when heroic actions could be taken or something, or like, like a friend of ours. Well, I don't know about a friend, but a person that I knew a bit. I don't know if you knew him. Peter Eckersley
Yeah.
died about a year ago, and was sort of like halfway signed up for cryonics in a way that like wasn't really like was by default I think not going to be respected, and Eli, with help from a bunch of people, but like I think sort of with Eli as sort of the central noticer that something should happen and sort of like organizer, basically caused Peter to be cryopreserved, which I think this is probably like a substantially less big deal, but I do think that there's some kind of a thing where I admire Eli's, I don't know, sensitivity to situations like this, and wish that I had that sensitivity and want to train it more.
Sure.
So
yeah, I think my retrospective on that is something like. So firstly, I think I don't know. So I don't know. I don't think you were the only person who is not super into the idea of like getting
That's true.
everyone to go around.
Yeah. However, I do think that like it was sort of up to me to decide in that moment
Yeah,
to like
you're right.
stop and think, which I didn't do.
Yeah, and I think like so if I think about why I wasn't super excited, it was some combination of like, okay, I'm like not and actually like listeners will I recorded a bit of the podcast in the car after we had turned around, so people might remember that. I think it was some combination of, firstly, I was sort of like tired and a bit crabby, as one is when they get a bit tired. And then, yeah, also he had sort of like, I don't normally love the metaphor of social capital, but I think he kind of used up his social capital on the like go to price chopper thing. And also like to my ears, there wasn't a like easy thing we could have done that would have clearly worked. And I do think in retrospect, I wish that, or it might have, I think it would have probably been good to just like dedicate 5 minutes to thinking about it. Like, okay, what's like a thing we could do that would actually work? Yeah, but we didn't.
Yeah. And I think for some reason, the thing that changed for me afterwards was like thinking about the person hours that were basically just going to be burned in that traffic jam that like we could have sort of prevented. Like I think it seems likely to me that basically for even if we didn't start a chain reaction, like for every car we stopped to tell something to, like we probably would have saved like on average 2 or 3 person hours, because the cars had multiple people in them, and it seems like this jam was going to keep going basically forever. And that seems like it's a pretty great like ROI. So I don't know. I think there's some kind of like scope sensitivity that I don't know. Maybe it was worth even doing relatively ineffectual things. Like I don't think we probably could have gotten everyone to turn around, but yeah.
Sure.
Anyway, so that's sort of, I feel like that's actually the thing that is most on my mind in retrospect about the thing. Though I did enjoy hanging out with people. Also shared in the group chat, totally unrelated thing, from this trip is a paper on Archive about whether there's like some anthropic bias in favor of the moon being the same visual size as the sun, which I think is a pretty interesting. I haven't tried to double check all the math in it, but it's a pretty cool paper, and I had often wondered if there was some reason like this that would be the case.
Yeah. Did you actually? So I saw this message and I didn't click on the link. Did you click on the link?
I did click on it. I went through it a bit. I think I found like there's one like kind of minor error in it that makes me a little suspicious of the rest of it, which is like it sort of misquotes how like basically the formula for the visual angle of an object. But I think it may be a good approximation in the particular context that it's like using that figure. So it may not matter, but it did. I don't know. I mean, it's by like an Oxford astrophysicist. So I suspect that at least some amount of
Sure.
of care went into it. But I'm not sure. Like, there's a little bit of missing precision there, I think. But
Yeah.
anyway, I thought it was very cool as a thought. In particular, the thing that it says is the moon basically came to be around the same size visually as the sun at roughly the time when land animals arose. And this is basically because it argues something about the relative gravitational strengths means that that's sort of a key point for causing tide pools to exist,
Right.
which are sort of and so if you think that it's important that humans are land animals and have had some time to evolve, this might be a reason to think that it's not quite a coincidence that the moon and the sun are visually the same size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I guess I'll take my takeaways, or I'll talk about my takeaways and also wrap up some loose ends. And you can react to that if you want. Okay, so a similar thing that I learned post the eclipse is that so the town we viewed the eclipse in, called Pittsburgh, New Hampshire, was its own microstate for a couple of years due to ambiguity about the U.S. and Canadian borders, which seems kind of cool to me. The way it ended was the sheriff of Coos County, New Hampshire, went in and was like, "You're going to be part of the U.S. or there's going to be problems," and then they folded. So that part's a bit less cool, but or I don't know. I guess it was wise for them to fold. I thought that was interesting. Also, I don't feel sick. I don't appear to have COVID. How do you feel?
I also don't feel sick, I think. I have had something that might be akin to brain fog today, but that would be really my only symptom. So,
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. And sorry, the reason you bring this up, I assume, is because JP, one of the other people in the car, turned out tested positive for COVID the day
That's
after
right.
the trip. So presumably we were all exposed a bit.
Yeah. But yeah, and then I guess in terms of the eclipse, yeah, like you, the actual eclipse is not my dominant memory of the eclipse trip, in part because it was 2 minutes. Also in part, I don't know, I think there's some degree of being distracted by recording the video, but I still have memories of it. So, but yeah, here's my take about the eclipse. It was cool. It wasn't like a transformative spiritual experience or anything, right? It was, I don't know, I think, one can hype it up too much. I think it was pretty cool. It was, it was this crazy thing that you don't normally experience. I do think on some level, I just tweeted this today, I think it's similarly cool to a sunset on an objective level. I don't know what what you make of that.
I think my sense is that the coolest thing is that there are all of these people gathering together to observe this natural thing that doesn't happen very often. I don't know. My guess is that you could add some ceremony around it to increase the probability of it being kind of a life-changing thing.
The gathering is cool. Well, I've used up about as much as your time as I promised to. So this will be the final installment. Dear listeners, I hope you enjoyed learning about my eclipse experience. Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay, we're done.